What's up, guys, and welcome to Flashback. We're here at the Les Zénith in Paris for the 2018 MSI knockout stage. 14 teams from all over the globe have competed to get here, and only FlashWolves, Royal Never Give Up, Kingzone Dragon X, and Fnatic have managed to make it here. So let's see what happened. The semi-finals began with a matchup of bot lane titans as Europe's Fnatic guns to upset China's Royal Never Give Up. RNG may have chosen to face Fnatic, but the Europeans embraced the challenge and each team swung for the fences early and often, looking for any play that would result in an advantage.
TP is going to be coming in here, using the flash to get himself away. TP's completed, Xiaohu and Uzi both decide to show up. It's going to be big, it's going to be a party! And RNG brings the whole crew!
After a series of back and forth brawls, both RNG and Fnatic backed off to reassess and regroup.
Are dancing around the Baron. They're not done yet. Let me not going to let Fnatic get away. He grabs one kill. Can he find any more? Can't quite get another transfusion off. But Xiaohu will like to clean up the mess.
But then, Let Me found a massive flank that caught Fnatic by surprise and finally gave RNG a clear shot at Baron. With an 8k gold lead in their pockets, Uzi and Xiaohu dished out massive damage to close out Fnatic and take game one.
And the killing spree for RNG is only going to get better from here. Xiaohu taken low, but it's a double kill for Uzi. It's a double kill for Xiaohu.
RNG and Fnatic picked up right where they left off, and the early game was packed full of action. After a flurry of fights, Fnatic found what they were looking for when a fight in the river turned into kills and the momentum. But it was an ill-advised Baron call that led to a clutch steal by Karsa that flipped the script and catapulted RNG into the lead.
The Baron going to be taken down below 1,000 HP! And Karsa steals away! Fnatic finds disaster!
Just when it looked like RNG had the game on lock, Fnatic stood strong, and Reckless picked apart Uzi and company for a triple kill that kept Fnatic's hopes alive.
He gets the chilling smite down. Uzi tries to get himself away from this one. More damage coming in from Reckless. Wants to go forward a little bit further. Needs another arcane shift into a mystic shot. And the triple kill!
But in a game filled with twists and turns, Karsa got the last laugh and steal that swung RNG into the lead for good and put them 2-0 over Fnatic. In Game 3, Fnatic felt like they'd cracked the RNG code at last when they expertly executed a huge 3-for-0 fight. But just like clockwork, the Chinese squad struck back with a fantastic fight that they used to cash in on Baron. From there, RNG was steamrolling Fnatic and had the base in their sights, but Reckless put a halt to their victory march with a nasty pentakill that reignited Fnatic and gave them one last shot to stay alive.
From this one, surely there's no way out. A quadra by the CC. Pentakill for Reckless!
Even with Reckless popping off, Fnatic couldn't stop RNG from taking both the Baron and Elder Drake. And after a patient siege, it was lights out for Fnatic in one of the closest 3-0 sweeps you will ever see. The second semi-final featured Korea's Kingzone Dragon X taking on Taiwan's upset-minded FlashWolves. BDD was locked in from the start, and his mid lane Aurelia made Maple pay early and often. Regardless, the game stayed close as the Wolves fought to keep pace, and when a tense fight broke out in the mid lane, Kingzone got a little help from the OP bot lane tower to finish off Hanabi.
Look at this! I mean, it was definitely a spread out one, and that was the actual last hit that finished off Hanabi.
After that, Kingzone finally started to pull it all together, and once they secured a big enough lead, they stormed FlashWolves' base to take first blood in a 1-0 series lead. For the second game in a row, Kingzone gave over Kaisa to FlashWolves' Betty, but this time he made them pay.
Killer instinct in the back, but they catch him out! Can they knock down Betty? Yes, there is a trade, but the kills come through fast and furious.
And it was all FlashWolves all game as they beat down Kingzone at every turn to easily even up the series.
Well, they're all falling! Kingzone giving up their base!
The draft was just the start of Game 3's craziness as both teams looked to take the series to match point. The tension was high, and teamfights were being decided by razor-thin margins. After 21 minutes of play, Kingzone ultimately found the fight they were looking for, using it to take Baron and build up a massive lead.
They finally pick it up, but the fight still going the way!
But Hanabi made the teleport of his career when he cut off Kingzone and bought his team enough time to dive into the backline and shred their carries for a massive teamfight win.
So the unstoppable onslaught, there's the knockup. They've isolated Sion, he will drop, and there's gonna be the backline access! Killer Instinct did what Maple could not! This is the huge fight for FlashWolves BDD fall! It's 3 for 1!
His heroics were short-lived though, and when Kingzone picked him off in the mid lane, that was all they needed to calmly close out the game and push the FlashWolves to the brink. After a heartbreaking Game 3 loss, Flash Wolves had to do their best to pull it together and find a win, or they'd be packing their bags for home. Unfortunately for them, Can awoke from his MSI slumber and chomped down on the Flash Wolves to silence his critics and punch Kingzone's ticket to the MSI Finals against Royal Never Give Up. After fighting their way through the group and knockout stages, it all came down to one final battle between Korea's Kingzone Dragon X and China's Royal Never Give Up. In Game 1, BDD picked up where he left off with Aurelia, making plays and stacking up the kills in the early game. But then, RNG flipped the go switch, and once they executed an immaculate top lane tower dive,
Members, he falls thereafter. Peanut is the next target. RNG are tower diving, and they get 4!
all bets were off as they ran Kingzone off the map and struck first with a dominating victory.
Time, but nobody is even touched. RNG are destroying, dismantling, deconstructing Kingzone.
After a huge early game, it was shaping up to be another runaway victory for RNG as they landed punch after punch. But in their quest for the knockout blow, RNG's overconfidence caught up with them when Kingzone decisively took an extended teamfight and converted it into an easy Baron. Now it was RNG on the ropes, and Kingzone didn't miss as they took down RNG to even up the series 1-1. Royal Never Give Up was looking for redemption after letting their lead slip in Game 2. They didn't have to wait long as they found ways to take fight after fight.
Who that takes him out? True shot barrage tags onto Bray. The flash taunt!
And before Kingzone could even blink, the Chinese squad obliterated their base for a lightning-quick 25-minute victory. With their tournament lives on the line, it was do or die for Kingzone in Game 4. BDD's Vel'Koz carried the team early, styling on RNG and picking up a sick double kill in the process. And in the 27th minute, Kingzone grabbed Baron, and when RNG tried to pick up exit kills, Gorilla set them up so BDD could torch them for a huge wombo combo.
The reply kill! Crosses the first! Look at the feathers! They fly the pulled back! And Uzi trying to do something!
After that, Game 5 looked like it was in the cards, but Uzi and RNG went all in one last time, and against all the odds, they found the perfect engage, blasting the Kingzone carries to pieces.
Call of the Forge God comes out as well as Killer Instinct! Royal never give up on doing it!
And at long last, Uzi finally became an international champion. And RNG wrote themselves into the history books as the champions of the 2018 Mid-Season Invitational.
And that wraps up MSI 2018. Now we're going to head back to our studio in Berlin and get ready for the EULCS Summer Split, which begins on June 15th. We'll see you there.